say, guys, to please make sure you check your. We have a two for me. Also, just everything that you turned in rated today. Exception, obviously, if you have maybe even your final grade rating those in their final projects to check throughout it. Okay. All right. So let's get right into it. In chapter six, we're just protecting your identity. That's important because yes, in today's age, technology is important. We're going to technology together even because thing 9 times out of 10 your company going to have to some form of technology. So we just want you to be mindful of, issues. Of course, there's bad actors everywhere we go. So it's this thing called identity theft. Go ahead, Vincent.
Oh no, I was just the volume was kind of low.
That's what I was about to say.
You have a question?
There we go. Thank you.
Get thumb up and hand up. Okay, thank you. It's like sign language, Vincent. I speak emoji, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so with the identity theft, everywhere we go, we know we can't get away from people always trying to steal, right? So it happens online. We know that we probably see different things in our inbox, different, Go ahead, Jennifer.
I don't know why, but you're still really low. It's really hard to hear.
Oh,
It's actually more of an echo. It's like you're
No,
away from your
no,
mic.
no, I'm sorry. I have my earphones.
Oh,
I was like, what is the problemo? Oh my God, that is funny. Listen, I saw when Jennifer raised her hand, I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. What did I do wrong? I started looking around. Sorry, guys. My I put my headphones in my phone at night in my laptop at night because my daughter's home and I do my night class, and so I don't want the echo. Okay. Now, let's see. Now I feel like I have to start over. But the only thing I was saying, sorry for the people that may be watching this via video, but I was just saying, obviously, we know last day to turn things in. Please try to get it turned in as soon as possible. We're in chapter 6 and we're just talking about identity theft. So I just started talking about identity theft. um, as you guys were watching the slides flip through. And like I was saying, everywhere we go, it's just people just can't do right, right? They just can't do right. So there are going to be people that do stuff even when you are looking for a job, which you'll see here, which you're going to probably be like, oh my God, this is so frustrating. Bad actors everywhere. So we have to be on high alert. We need to be diligent about protecting ourselves. Most times it's just I mean, it's not that just identity theft is not bad enough. But for the most part, they're trying to steal your identity. You don't want it to be something even worse than that, like a stalking situation. But 90% of the time, they're trying to steal your identity because they're just trying to use it for some type of scam, right? But unfortunately, y'all know there are employment scams. Yes, there are employment scams. That means that there are bad actors that will pretend to be companies, sign up for Indeed, sign up for LinkedIn, say that they're a real company, and what are they trying to get you to do? Send in your resume, fill out an application. And what happens when you do those things? You're putting all your contact information. What are they trying to do with that contact information? Create a fake account. I know it is so annoying. So, what do we try to tell people to do? Number one, if you don't recognize that company, go to their website. If they don't have a website and you don't recognize that company, I would not be putting my personal information, up. You can even send people a resume with just your phone number on it, and what Indeed does do to protect people's identity. Like if you set up for Indeed, they don't necessarily send people your contact information. They make you go through Indeed until you decide that you want to move forward with that company. Actually, you have a job, and sometimes companies do that too, just to protect themselves. But if something looks funny, something, 9 times out of 10, if your gut is telling you this seems too good to be true, a lot of times they'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, you're hired. We just want you to come on board. Now send me all your information. It's probably a scam. So you want to be on the lookout for that. All computers that you use have their own little identity. So think of it like a license plate, right? So all computers have license plates. The moment you go out onto the street, the moment you get onto the internet, your license plate gets recorded. Um, you People can steal and tap into, how some people like go and steal your license plate off your car and pretend to be you. Well, people can actually access your computer license plate. We call it a IP address to try to access your information. I know it's so annoying. How do you protect yourself against that? Well, what you want to do is just be mindful of, that you're using browsers that are secure. You're not making a mistake and getting onto a browser that's not secure. What do you mean by a browser? Well, you're on a browser now, but most of you guys are at home, so it's a safe browser, right? You're using some type of Wi-Fi. Again, think of a Wi-Fi like a road, right? You don't want a road to take you to a bad place, but there are browsers that you can get on that take you to bad places. The way to make sure you're not on those fake browsers is if you can trust the street that you're using, which is like the Wi-Fi that you're using. So obviously if you're at home, you trust yours. Go ahead, Marco.
I was just gonna say that a good way to trust a website is if it's authenticated and it has a lock at the top of the browser. That would be a good way to
It has a what
find
at
a
the top of the browser?
It'll have a lock at the in the
Oh,
URL.
yes,
So,
that's right. That's a good point. Absolutely. So if you want to make sure it's a secure browser, like that URL, how I was telling you guys to grab that from your LinkedIn account right on the right hand side, like Marco was saying, there's typically some type of little lock and key that says this is a secure browser, meaning these fake browsers can't access your information. That's so important. Especially because this is a global theft, guys. Don't think this is not some local stuff we're talking. We're talking about global. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of international law against this type of theft. So if some guy sitting over in Bali is, controlling this fake browser, what can you do about it? Right? Not much, right? Because the laws just have not caught up to internet theft yet. There's some laws on the books, but that's why cybersecurity is so hot right now in terms of career, because they're still trying to figure this thing out because technology is moving faster than anybody anticipated. But they'll never tell you that. But it's moving faster than most people anticipated. So to avoid these fake hot spots, and like he said, you want to make sure there's a lock. You want to make sure that you're not getting onto any fake roads. If you go to like a Starbucks or a bookstore or anywhere where they give you free Wi-Fi, sometimes these bad actors will create a fake one. Like, let's just pretend you're at Starbucks. And they say, oh yeah, use our Wi-Fi. Or you can scan that code and let's just pretend it says Starbucks 123. Well, a bad actor, he'll put Starbucks 546. And so you're thinking, oh, I'm on Starbucks, and you're not, right? So pay attention to those little things. If you're using like a public library or a Starbucks or where they have Wi-Fi, make sure you read it carefully and you're not choosing the wrong signal, because now you just put your whole entire system at risk because now they can backdoor. You know, if you've ever worked with a computer person and they said, hey, log into this website and I can now see your computer. And, you know, if your IT person can do it, right? So they can log in, we call it a backdoor, and access your laptop, and they can click around just like they're sitting there watching you. A lot of IT people do it when they're trying to help you out. So that's basically what they're doing, having you go to this website where they can access your IP address and then basically be on your computer without you even knowing it, which I know is a bit scary, especially for those of us that, you know, are not used to using computers. So that's why you have to be careful. Um, Web browsers use these things called cookies. I'm sure many of you have seen it before, you've heard of it, or even if you're on a website, that website may say, hey, would you accept our cookies? Because by law, they have to ask you. What is that really? It's almost like a digital footprint in the sense that, let's say you're on Amazon, and Amazon basically wants to track what you're clicking on. Why are they doing it? It's just so they can market to you. So most times it's innocent, but of course there's always bad actors. Because what happens is your browser, as you're clicking on stuff, if you say you accept the cookies, is think of like cookie crumbs. You know, IT people are not very creative when they come up with these topics. But essentially you're leaving cookie crumbs where you go. And so now if you go back into that website, it remembers, you know, where you clicked on it, and it can just take you right to there quicker. It can offer you stuff similar to what you were clicking on. So we call those cookies, but you can clear that stuff out. It just means that when you go back into that website, um, it just has to start for over. It won't remember where you were on that site. You know, it won't have what we call a shortcut, because the crumbs are like a little shortcut just for the computer to not have to go through each little step to take you from point A to point B. And I'm oversimplifying this because it's not an IT class. I'm trying to oversimplify it. But anyway, so bad actors can hijack your cookies, right? They can find, oh, look at these crumbs, and they can see where you're going. Obviously, what are they looking for? They're looking to get to sites where you've put your any type of personal information, credit card information, and they want to try to access it, and you know, that type of stuff. That may, you know, and that's good. This is not just a career stuff. This is, you know, even just personally, you want to watch out for that. But they like to attack companies, guys. You know, companies have gotten more vigilant about trying to protect themselves, because a lot of times they don't even like to attack you or I. They like to attack companies. That's where the money is, right? So what will happen? Either in your personal email, even your company email, you'll get a lot of what we call phishing emails. These are fraudulent emails, trying to trick you into providing some type of private personal information. Sometimes they'll pretend to be a company or a person that you may be familiar with. Because somehow they got a hold of that, you know, sometimes they've cracked into the system of the person, and then they see your name, and so they pretend to be that person or pretend to be that company, and they'll send you, you know, some fake email saying, oh, you know, we need you to verify your system. Oh, this is Adobe and you have Adobe and you need to update it. We need you to log in and put your credit card information. Be vigilant about these emails, delete them right away. Whether if you're at work, your IT person will tell you, hey, let me know, you know, send it to me so they can block it and do whatever. If you're at home, you're going to have to, you know, take up some of that yourself and make sure you're not clicking on anything you're not supposed to. Malware is a software program that is designed to damage or destroy or steal on your computer. You can get that on personal computers too. A lot of times these bad actors are trying to hit it big, so they try to hit up larger companies. So you'll see those happen a lot more at your company. But just, you know, it's another virus that you can get just by clicking on something, you know, that you shouldn't. You know, it could be a logo or an ad or something that looks very innocent. A software virus, obviously, uh, can destroy, you know, it's really destroying the programming on your computer for whatever reason. Sometimes a virus is not intentional. You could have, you know, had, you know, not that we even use USBs anymore, but some people still do use USBs, you know, thanks to Google Cloud, a lot of people don't use it. But even with any file, even on the cloud, can have some type of virus, but if you used to use those USBs or disk drives or whatever, and there's a virus once you plug it in somebody else's computer, plug it into your own, you can get that virus by mistake. Adware is software, like if you've ever been to on little cheesy websites, you think it's a real website. And then you go there and all these ads pop up everywhere. Or, a company that really doesn't sell much and they really just sell a bunch of ads, but they make it seem like, oh yeah, we sell really cool sneakers. And then you go to that website and it's just 1,000 ads popping up everywhere. That's called adware. A lot of those things could be viruses as well. Your Google and other platforms will have like this adware blockers. That's what that's about. Spyware is software that is designed to spy on your computer, as you can imagine. That's really high up type, you know, um, detection that these bad actors are using for government, for banking institutions, trying to spy to get information for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's not just money, sometimes it's political reasons and stuff like that. And then, of course, ransomware. You may have heard of this one because it happens to major corporations. The government, it's even happened to our government, I think like last year or year before that, where they locked up the system. And even though, America has a policy that says they don't negotiate, they had to negotiate that day. They kept it quiet, but they had to negotiate because it is almost near impossible to get those ransomwares off of your computer. If they get in, these are the top of the top. Unfortunately, these people that do this bad stuff, they go to the same schools as the good people. You just have to make a decision on whether you're going to be good or bad, right? So when they talk about hacking, they call it ethical hacking, unethical hacking. All these people go to the same school. It's just one took the bad route, one took the good route. So it's almost like good versus evil. They're always fighting against each other because some people, decide to go down a different road. So it's almost near impossible to get these ransomwares, off of your system if that happens. And so a lot of companies will have to pay. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say, hey, give me hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. Go ahead, Marco.
I was just gonna say it sounds like job security. Sounds like they keep each other in business.
You know what? I listen. I, that opens up a whole door for me, but I try not to be political. Um, but there's something to that. I'll just say that, I have a little IT degree. It's not a big, I have a software, cybersecurity, but I mean, you can't help but think that. So it's almost like think about banking institutions or anybody that is in business. It's always the people that does the business, that do the good business and the bad business. So it's like it's almost impossible to say you don't know anything. I think that's probably, a big sentiment about what's happening now in our political system. It's like, okay, Congress, y'all kind of all the same. Like, come on, stop it. Listen, oh no, these guys are bad. I'm good. Y'all the same. Stop that foolishness, right? Because you got to know what's going on. It's not that you don't know. You either complicit or you just looking in the other direction. But I don't trust any of it. So if people wanted to make it things stop, they could. Like just know that. That's all I'm going to say to that. Like at any rate, if you wanted it to stop, you can make it stop, right? So that tells me you don't want it to stop, right? You're trying to write it out and see where it's going to go. That's my humble opinion. So that's the same with anything. So, again, with ransomware, it's not something we have to concern ourselves with because unless you're worth a whole bunch of money and you're not letting us know, those are very sophisticated systems, so they tend to use it on, really major institutions. So, how do you protect yourself? Obviously, you want to have as many layers as possible to secure yourself, antivirus software, so you don't get some type of virus. Your mobile computer, they know that you have all these downloads to access to your banking account. They can even try to log into your mobile security. My friends, anytime your computer or your phone company sends you an update right away. Why is that? They're not going to tell you. 9 times out of 10, somebody logged in, somebody got access to something, something didn't work, or some type of glitch. And 9 times out of 10 is a security breach. So they're trying to update it right away. They're not going to tell you, oh, we found some type of, error or whatever. uh Update it right away. It's for your own benefit. So when you get those updates, don't just be like, oh, later, later, later. Do it right away, right? Because a lot of times it's for security stuff. All right. So other than that, make sure you have really strong passwords. That's why everybody wants to use that multi-factor authentication. That's where you have to use your thumb, use your eye, use your phone. I like to use my finger as an authentication. Obviously your security settings and, backing things up to the cloud, even though that's not 100%, that's when you put stuff on like Google or Microsoft, 365, because, people can break into those too. But anyway, whatever. They're safe nowhere. Data is the biggest stuff now. It used to be money, now it's data, right? So like I said, there's a lot of different things you can use. Chapter 6 just gives you a little checklist of things you can do to try to keep yourself safe. When it comes to your password though, here's a key that I use that a lot of, IT people say to use. When you're making a password, here's a hint. Think of, so how these password break-in systems work, software systems work, they are going to go through the dictionary, right? All the global dictionaries. And they're going to think of every word in the dictionary, all the names, every common word, and they're going to try to combine it with, numbers, symbols, that kind of stuff, right? That's what the software system is designed to do. Now, how do you beat the system? If you make up words, right? The system can't make up words. Only you can make up your own word. Anybody remember back in the day when we used to make up words? We would switch it. They used to call it Pig Latin. Let me see how old you are. Anybody remember Pig Latin? Come on, let me go down memory lane with me.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Right? So it's like Pig Latin. If y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You take a word, flip it upside down. That's one quick way to give you a really strong password because the system can't beat you. Something else I tell people you can do is to think of a word that you know how to spell. So let's say the word password, but don't use that one. That's too simple. And instead of, it's a word that you'll never forget. It can be your middle name. It can be a really cool street that had a crazy name, whatever, name that you're not going to forget. And instead of using letters, so let's say we're going to use the password here on the screen here, I'm going to change that A to a $sign. And I'm going to change the O to an exclamation point. And at the end of the word password, I'm going to put the year, I don't know, some president died, right? You don't want to put your birthday date, for example, because that's too obvious, right? Put some weird year or something like that, and then put another symbol on it. Like the more crazy you can make it, the better, but don't do it to where you can't remember it, right? I would say that's the only caveat, right? But so it's a word, you'll never forget the word password. You won't forget how to spell it. So all you have to remember is that the A is a $sign and the O is an exclamation point, right? And then whatever year. So if I put password 1872, and then I put a hashtag at the end, right? I'm making that password strong. I'm going to know it. The software system could crack it, but most softwares, the more sophisticated the cracking system, the more it costs. Most bad actors are not going to waste money trying to break into you or I's. They just think we're poor, so they're not going to spend that kind of money trying to break into ours. Now they will try to break into, the governments or something like that, but trust me, their passwords are even way stronger than that. So and then they change them frequently. That's why they say you should try to change it frequently as well. But that's how you create a really, really strong password. There you go. And then the longer you can make it, the better too. But that's a whole other story. Like if you even want to say, you know, uh, a really strong thing, like the address to the Starbucks around the corner, like nobody's gonna know that. And then you switch it out, like, okay, you're doing some top level stuff there, but it'll make sure that your password doesn't get, taken. All right, so here we go. I want to know, have you ever been hacked or had your identity stolen? I know I have. They got me back in the day. How did you fix it? Now, if that's never happened to you, good for you. Keep yourself safe. Just tell us, what are you doing to keep yourself safe? Go ahead, Marco.
Um, I guess we're wrapping up. I was just gonna say,
No, go ahead.
yeah, I was trying to look at the daily question for Monday on the past recordings because I couldn't remember what it was. Do I have to be on a computer to do that also? Because I couldn't do it on my phone.
Yeah, I've been told, and I don't know what type of phone you use, that sometimes. So what happens with cell phones, think of it as layers. And I see your question, Crystal. You can go down certain layers on a cell phone. So if I click on one thing, right, and it takes me into this portal, and then this portal requires me to click on something else, and then it requires me to click on something else. Your phone will only let you go down so many layers. So it just depends on what system you're using. So some people, when they get to, like, say you click into the school, then you click into that page, and then you click on to week 4, but then now you can't click on to the next thing. So it just depends on your phone. Now, what I do tell people to try to do is, instead of it, don't use the app, because the app definitely has limitations. Try to like log in through Google and try it that way. But with the question anyway, like you can't go back and do the question anyway, so might as well just leave that alone. Those questions are daily. Like in rare situations, I let people go back and do old questions, but I mean, just move past that. It's not really going to hurt your grade too much. Go ahead, Crystal. Is it Crystal? I'm
I
sorry.
just,
Okay.
I just wanted to ask about week three's mock interview assignment. I know,
Results. Mhm.
yeah, because some of us had done it and you had sent it back and we had did it the right way and sent you screenshots, but I don't know.
You mean the mock interview form?
Yes, or no, the thank you letter.
No, so what happened was I think I already corrected that. I wanted to see the sent, not just the thing, but I forgot on my instructions. I put either or because people were having trouble with it. So I just went ahead and gave you guys credit for it. So as long as you did the letter, or whether you took a screenshot or not, I went back and gave people credit for it. If you don't see credit, I'll check. I'll be checking grades. I'll double check. You can check back later this evening if you don't see it corrected.
Okay, because it was me and I think a couple other people.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because I don't know, because sometimes I say stuff, but then I realize it contradicts what is written. So, obviously that's on me. That's not on you guys. So I went back and changed it. But
Okay,
I'll double check to make sure. Okay,
thank you. I appreciate it.
no problem. Because I actually want, I mean, and to be honest, some career services like stop it, them sending emails, but it's good practice anyway. I think you should, even if getting a couple of emails from students, it's not going to break the bank, and it builds a rapport with them. And who doesn't want to thank you, right? Even if they say they don't, everybody wants to thank you, right? So I say physically send that thank you. It goes a long way. All right, y'all. That's it. Obviously, you can reach out to me. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of calls today. So you guys be diligent, take care. I'll try to get these grades done as soon as possible. And please remember, tomorrow's really, really quick, guys. Really quick. We're in and out. If you come here and you're like, oh my God, they're gone. Yep, we're gone. Bye. Just watch the video, get your question. We're out of here. You still have access to me, but we got things to do. We try to wrap up, right? All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow very quickly. Have a good day.